I am Jeff with one F because I give an F. I care. Now, if you've ever tuned in to this, you usually see me standing up. That's because I'm trying to do stand-up comedy. So now I'm sitting down and I'll just try to be real interesting, extremely fascinating, interesting. As I said, I give enough and care about a lot of stuff, including the arts. So I'm going to talk about an art form. Fine artists probably won't even call an art, but you can't deny that movies are the most popular art form, for good or for bad. I was the director of the Florida Film Institute for some years. I know that sounds highfalutin, but it's truly nothing. I mean, it was we tried to teach. We had contracts with several boards of education in Dade and Broward County. By the way, this is coming to you from Miami, in case I never mentioned that. And we tried to teach kids the art, science, and business of filmmaking, hoping to create a future generation of filmmakers. That just never happens. Florida just doesn't make movies. They've been trying. I've been told, but I've read that the very first movie studio in America was in Jacksonville, Florida. No one knows what they ever made. It quickly went to New York and whatever. But down here in South Florida, we have a couple of studios, but we just don't make movies. I mean, they come from out of town and do some shooting here, Robert De Niro was on South Beach, blah, blah, blah. But they take the footage back to California and edit it there and score it there and blah, blah, and do everything there. And, that's where it is. They've tried forever to make movies here. We even have a Hollywood, Florida. And I have a great story about that, which I'll tell later. But some guy named Lester or Chester something Young, and they have a big glorietta, big roundabout in the middle of Hollywood, Florida, called Young Circle. And, he named it Hollywood. He thought, hey, let's have another Hollywood. Because by this time, even though it was a silent film era, it was taking off. It was huge, gigantic. Movies were big almost from the very start. And no movies. We haven't made any movies. Not in Hollywood, Florida, not in Miami. Nowhere. We don't make movies. Maybe low budget. I don't know. I think maybe Creature from the Black Lagoon was perhaps made in and around Florida. I don't know. But the fellow that was in the rubber suit that played the creature, quick trivia, Creature from the Black Lagoon is the movie that's playing that Tom Mule and Marilyn Monroe go to see in The 7 Year Itch, and then she walks out and she has the famous thing with the subway air force. She's standing on a grate and blows her dress up. Iconic Hollywood image. Over her shoulder you can see in the background the marquee of the theater they walked out of, Creature from the Black Lagoon. One of the great film titles of all time. I mean, there are better movies, but not better titles. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Man. That's amazing. And naturally, it was like son of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, whatever. Creature Returns, Creature Walks Among Us. I don't know. There's a few sequels. But anyway, the guy in the rubber suit, Rick Browning, full name is Riku Browning, but if you were a manly man like Rick, you wouldn't call yourself Riku either. But anyway, and when he took off the suit, and he was good underwater photographer. He shot the underwater sequences to a couple of James Bond movies, Thunderball, and what's the other one where they go underwater? Live and Let Die or something like that. And he created Flipper. And of all the celebrities I've met, and I'm not going to be a name dropper, that's not cool. I mean, I've dropped Rick Browning's name, but that's like pretty industry, I haven't dropped any Academy Award winner names, which I can, but I won't. It's not cool. He created Flipper, and it was filmed through Ivan Tor's studio. And Ivan Tors is this Hungarian fellow who helped America during World War II. He helped the OSS, which is like the forerunner of the CIA. So it's classified what he did, but they were grateful powerful enough. He helped the GIs in Europe somehow. And so they gave him a visa to come to America, and immediately he started, working to try to make movies and all that. A real entrepreneurial, real go-getter, real hot wire. And he made Sea Hunt. You might be asking, what is Sea Hunt? It's about an underwater detective, skin diver, and it was played by Lloyd Bridges. It was a pretty low-budget show. As low budget as you can get, and still you have to film underwater, so it's not like a regular low-budget show where you're walking around the normal atmosphere. I starred Lloyd Bridges, who was great. He needed it badly because he had been blacklisted during the McCarthy era. Lloyd Bridges, in case did you ever see High Noon? He's the deputy sheriff that has the fist fight with Gary Cooper, and Gary Cooper wins. Gary Cooper's like 60 and Lloyd's 20. Come on. Anyway, so Lloyd Bridges, he's the father of Jeff Bridges and Beau Bridges. And he's like the only name on the show. In every episode, it's a different story. He doesn't like have a sidekick or secretary back at the office. It's just him, and he's always narrating because he's underwater, and it's a huge hit. It was I believe the first syndicated hit. What does syndicated mean? Well, like the big channels, NBC, CBS, CBS, NBC, ABC, and at that time Dumont, they produced their own shows. But, they only were able to produce enough like to fill prime time. And so all the rest of the day and the evening, they had to come up with other content, other programming. So people produced stuff and went around and sold it to all these different markets. And supposedly the first big syndicated hit was Sea Hunt. It was on for like 3, 4, 5 years. And a half-hour show, naturally, black and white. Everything was black and white. And so it was a gigantic hit for this Hungarian fellow, Ivan Tors. Took the money, built a studio, named it Ivan Tors Studio, put Rick Browning, the creator of Flipper, to run it, and the first thing they made was Flipper. If you've ever seen the documentary The Cove, and I highly recommend it, you'll find out a little more about this and how sad and awful the whole idea of, enslaving sentient beings like dolphins, all that, how horrible all that is. I've been a vegetarian since '72, so I don't feel too guilty. They're not chopping up dolphins to sell to me for food. So, and that was a huge hit. And Flipper was on for a few years, and I always hear, and it's on now. I think it's on after Sea Hunt on that same channel probably. And I think it's just godly awful, Flipper, what is it? The man's cheating on his taxes? And it's, it's just, he makes the same sound. He's not too thrilled about it. It's actually Susie playing, they always say it's a male. What does it matter, Lassie was always referred to as she, even though, ironically, it's flipped around there. A male played Lassie, but we never got a good look between the legs, so we just accepted the here girl, here, we just accepted the fact that it was a girl played by a boy, and Flipper was supposed to be a guy, but it's played by a girl. Who cares? Anyway, so then in the same studio they made Gentle Ben, another animal show, and that starred Ron Howard, his little brother, Clint Howard, and there was a Dennis Weaver, and it did okay too. Then he made Doctari, which was about animals. See, he was good when he was working with animals, And Rick Browning, who played the creature from the Black Lagoon and invented Flipper and did all this underwater stuff, he's still around. Well, last time I saw him, honestly, was about 4 years ago. But he's been pretty hale and hearty. His son is an underwater cameraman. He's even trying to drum up some business with me. Of all the celebrities I've met, and again, I'm not going to name drop, I just think this is the coolest one because he's the guy, Creature from the Black Lagoon. When I was a little kid and I saw Creature from the Black Lagoon on TV, Little did I dream that I would one day be pals with the guy in the suit there. Just unbelievable. You never know what life is going to bring you. But you know, so some TV shows, and then a couple years later, the show that saved South Florida, Miami Vice, that was completely filmed here, and shot, and I think edited, scored, everything. And one guy, you know, Hans Zimmer, you know, set the some kind of synthesizer, and that was shot in Ivan Tor's studio, which by then had changed its name to Greenwich Studio, and I had an office there for about 15 years, producing, you know, junk, but no movies. South Florida just doesn't get the movies, you know, and that's just the way it is. So that's about all for this episode. Oh, wait a minute. I want to just add. What? No, I don't. So, oh my God. All right. So I'm going to talk about why Hollywood, Florida is so interesting for its name on another episode. And y'all hang in there, and I'll see you again standing up or sitting down.